The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth Pregame.
You ready? No debate, cause they saw. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant, slay the competition cause I'm walking like a giant. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, corner booth.
I see myself. Kate, I feel like I have not officially said this. I've tiptoed around it. Kate, will you marry me?
Do I have to answer now? Or?
No, you have time. You can think about it. You can think about a way to say no without hurting my feelings if you want.
Oh
Lovely. I'll send you a letter.
Just don't even.
Right, cool. Thank you. Shit. I'll send you my address later so you can send it to my house.
Yeah, I'm never giving you my address. I don't want you getting that close.
Oh, I know.
That's my cue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Korner Booth Pregame. I am your host, Jared Clem, alongside the usual cast of characters. We got the full house. We got the band back together tonight on the bass with mic issues galore. Ladies and gentlemen, a very happy Jets fan drinking some White Claw surges to celebrate Quentin Williams' return and the return of the Jets officially to Hard Knocks, Mr. Matt Ordazzo.
Yeah, you know what? I'm in a very, very happy day today with the Quentin Williams news. We're back on Hard Knocks. The last time we were on Hard Knocks, we all know what we did. We did some damage, so I'm hoping for a little replay of that this year.
your mic level just recovered, and holy shit. Okay, I'm going to have to drop your mic level just a tiny bit, my friend.
At least one of it's working.
Yeah, it picked up everything too over. And on lead guitar, ladies and gentlemen, back from his tour of Europe, the socialist hotbed. I'm just kidding. I'm just
the fascist.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boomer Sooner, big time Houston Astros fan, and one of the funniest dudes around, ladies and gentlemen, Mason Rutch.
Good to be back, man. Glad to be back on this side of the pond.
Oh yeah, welcome back to freedom, baby. Oh, I found this out, by the way, and I wish this was a fucking joke because you texted me you were in England you were in England for a little bit, right? Is that where you said you were?
we flew into London and then we just hopped over to Rome, yeah.
Okay.
So briefly.
When you said you were going to England, I saw a stat because my buddy was in England too. Him and his girlfriend went and he took some time off and he's overseas right now just exploring Europe. Listen, his job pays enough. He can enjoy it. He texted me, yeah, I'm in London. I'm at the Roman Wall right now, where where the Romans' wall was before they would go to like Northern Ireland, Northern England and shit, which is like the coolest part of history nobody talks about. And I saw this random stat because I looked up England, and then it was like England, and then somehow I got down a rabbit hole, and I found out more people were arrested for lack of free speech in England last year than they were in Russia.
Crazy.
I was
man.
like, what?
Yeah, that's.
I was just like, well, this is uncomfortable. I'm closing my laptop now. Good night.
Speaking of Russia, there is I was traveling down Middletown Ave the other day in the East Haven, New Haven area, or East Haven, North Haven area, for anybody that's familiar with that in Connecticut. And there was, lo and behold, a massive Putin statue just in this person's backyard with the Russian flag next to it. Almost respect it because I think they made it, and you could tell it was Putin from like miles away. That was nice piece of iron they made that out of. So shout out to that people for really believing in their power.
Dude, I mean, listen, the war in Ukraine sucks, and I'm not going to get into politics because as much as I like making political jokes occasionally, expressing my actual political opinion is not what I had in mind today. I want to talk some baseball, some football, and whatever the fuck else talked about. I'll talk about what I'm drinking today, though, because I got to give this brewery a shout out. They're out of North Haven, Connecticut. It's called 12% Brewing, and it is called High Fives and Good Vibes. This is 9.2% alcohol. It tastes like a 6. I don't understand it. It tastes amazing. I want another 4-pack of it. It's way too good. Way better than that kiwi beer that was really underwhelming last week, 2 weekends ago. But
IPA or
it was it's an imperial IPA.
ooh. Oh man, that just looks like it's just gonna taste like grapefruit and everything. That looked like you had a glass of gravy in there.
It's a triple IPA actually. Citra, you cannot wheat. Oh, it's a wheat and oat malt. That's where that flavor comes from.
Nice.
Oat and wheat malt has a very nice caramelly finish to it. This definitely has that. So I'm very happy with this beer. It was totally worth the $15 to spend on the 4-pack. I also bought it with a 6-pack of Coors Banquet glass bottles. So I'm sticking to my redneck roots as much as I try to.
A little fancy.
Yeah. Well, also, listen, I don't want to hear any of this shit. Banquet tastes 1,000 times better out of the bottle or on tap than it does out of a can.
I'm not going to argue that. Fully agree.
Dude, I don't think over here, at least, I don't know how it is for you guys, but for at least 6-packs, you can't get them any way else than just the glass bottles for us.
You can get, like liquor stores out here will cut corners and they'll open up 30 racks and they'll make those like cheap little looking 6-packs. Like my buddy Brian works at, they'll sell a 6-pack of Coors for $7. I mean, listen, when I'm balling on a budget that week, I'll buy 2 of those and I'm good for the fucking weekend.
So you can only buy bottles of 6-packs because we can get like 30 racks of cans.
Well, I mean, I'll usually buy you can probably get 30 racks out there, obviously.
Yeah, no, you can get 30s, Matt. I'm just saying for the Sixers, I've never even seen like tall boy Sixers of Banquet. I've only seen just 6-ounce or not 6-ounce, 6-pack, 12-ounce glass short bottles of Banquet.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's the same over there. Who knows? Maybe it's different in Colorado where they make it.
No, in Colorado they sell like 30. They sell 20. They sell like cases of the fucking 12, like the snub bottles.
Yeah,
get you a.
It all depends on area, and it's weird because like you go down by you, Mace, I can get a case of fucking Lone Star for like dirt cheap. Up here, all I can get is in 6-packs.
I get you a glass 40-ounce of Colt 45 with a nice twist off cap if you want.
There you go.
Perfect, man.
Do you remember, Matt, we were in college?
Sign me up, Matt.
And Juicy J was all over had like the Juicy J edition cans.
Yeah,
when we were in college, it was so fucking funny. I'm walking to the liquor store. I'm. By the way, I somehow got to my buddy drove me to the liquor store. We've been drinking since about I think we had a tailgate or something that morning. So we started drinking at 9 a.m. We ran out of beer because his buddy's girlfriend's friends had no beer. So us being gentlemen, we donated half of our 30 rack to them. We realized we ran out of beer too fast. The game wasn't until like 4 o'clock. So we drove over to the liquor store around the corner in Hamden. Matt knows exactly which liquor store I'm talking about. The one that never carded. We were of age at this point, but we walk in and I just saw the Juicy J cans and I almost bought it. And I hate Colt 45. It tastes like piss. But I was like, I just want to buy this just for the conversation starter.
Juicy J thrived in like 2014 when we were like sophomores or juniors.
He had like a song in the Ninja Turtles movie and shit. It was wild. Like this dude was like.
There you go.
And didn't he do a song with like Katy Perry or some shit?
I was just about to say, yeah, he did that song with Katy Perry and it blew up. And I think that's when all the bottles and shit came out.
Yeah. 2014 was a weird year, man. That was 9 fucking years ago. Don't remind me of that. Matt, we were sophomores in college almost about 9 years ago. Let that sink in. And in August, it'll be 10 years since we went to college.
I don't want to talk about it because Mason just graduated and we're talking about how he started 10 years ago. He's like, oh man, I just graduated. Our intern,
Chris, is Mason's age. He just graduated Temple too. Like I'm like, my head's blown right now. I think that trader who used to be Mason, you muted yourself again, pal.
Yeah, no, my bad.
You're good, dog.
This is why after that lovely, let's just throw that in there. I just poured myself a nice little LSU shot of a tequila because you said 10 years ago I got my 10-year high school reunion in like a week. I got fucking 10 years since I started college, which means I can't use my college ID anymore for discounts because I definitely don't look like I did 10 years ago.
I can't even find mine anymore. The fuck you mean? I mean, listen, I I went into a store and it was like it said like proud 2A supporter on it. So I'm like, hey, if I shave my pistol permanent ID, will you give me a discount? Guy's like, fuck yeah. I'm like, let's go.
I forgot when the last time I used my college thing was, but I showed it to the guy, and then
2017 I used it like 6 or 8 months after we graduated.
I used it within the last like handful of years, but I was just like, if it makes it any better, they don't retake your picture. So that's my freshman picture. And he goes, all right, whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. I've been out of college for like 5 years now. Thanks, man.
You're not supposed to tell them until after you walk out the receipt.
No, I didn't say that. I was just like, that was what I said in my head because I got my 10 or 15% off or whatever the fuck it was. I was cheap back then.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, listen, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. It is time for the first round presented by the amazing people at MahlerBros.com. Why is my computer freezing? There's that voice. A little too loud. All right. By the way, it's not actually Whiskey Myers music. They are my favorite band. I kind of teamed this after them. And, of course, Leonard Skinner. Promo code BELLYUP for 15% off. Go check them out. Me and Josh, the founder of Mahler Bros, are actually working on our Korner Booth Mahler Bros crossover hats, available exclusively at MahlerBros.com. Me, Mason, and Matt will all each get a hat, as well as a lot of the other shows. It's going to be nice, maybe a little camo thrown in there, but a classy camo, not mossy oak. That's for hunting season. We're classy camo. It's summer camo now. But it's going to be a nice little hat you can wear on the course, little mesh back looking thing. Check it out. MahlerBros.com. Promo code Belly 50% off. They got pants coming out soon, guys. I already love their polos. I can't wait for the golf joggers. Check them out. MahlerBros.com. Official sponsor of Belly Sports and the Corner Podcast. And, of course, friends of the show. All right, gents, we're starting it off with our NFL check-in. Matthew, it's a Jets-heavy start to our NFL check-in. I'm going to let you take the stage, my friend.
Well, let's start with some money, shall we? Because who doesn't love money? Because Quinn Williams loves money, and I love the fact that he got all that money. The Jets swiped their credit card on him and said, we'll worry about this 30 years. The man got paid. We were talking a 4-year, $96 million contract with $66 million guaranteed. This is the largest contract any defensive tackle has ever received for a second contract in NFL history. And it makes any sense. This is what I'm trying to say is this is the largest second contract any defensive tackle has ever earned in the NFL history. I believe this puts him under Aaron Donald. He's not the highest defensive tackle, I do not believe. It's going to be $24,000 or $24 million a year. So he definitely surpassed Dexter Lawrence's contract. So he's going to get $9.5 million this year, and then the contract will kick in, and he'll be an unrestricted free agent after the 2027 season when he'll be 30 years old. And this is a beautiful, beautiful day because Quinnen Williams is a very slept-on, underrated defensive tackle. Shout out to his agent, Nicole Lynn, who has also secured the bag for, was it Lamar? Or was
Jalen
it?
Hurts,
Oh, it's Jalen
baby.
Hurts, right?
Jalen Hurts, baby. Nicole
So shout out to Nicole Lynn.
She mean
from
my
Clutch
agent.
Sports.
She wants.
What an amazing.
Damn, she's there. Listen, This ain't even. I'm not even hitting on her. She's just good at her fucking job. She gets the bag for everybody.
She is the new Scott Boras of the NFL. But so
Except
Quinnen
her
Williams is
contracts
locked
don't
in.
fuck over teams like Scott Boras's do.
Yeah. So he's locked into this contract. I'm excited. And this man is the heart of the Jets defense. I mean, you've got, Sauce and Reed manning it from the back. You've got CJ Mosley commanding the middle. And then up front, the identity of this team is Quinnen Williams. This is actually a very sad stat that I'm about to tell you guys. So please, shed a tear for me on my behalf. This is the first round pick the Jets have re-signed since like 2012. Wild stat where sometime between 2012 to 18 they have not signed a first round pick, and this is the first one. With him on the team, they have an 8.1% sack rate, which is the best in the league. Without Quinnen Williams on the field, that goes down to 3.4, which is 31st in the league. So that's just to tell you how important this guy is to this team. So I'm very excited that we locked him up.
There you go. even though you had a little Megatron episode from it, you were sounding like you were speaking Cybertron with your mic peaking and everything going crazy. But I'm happy for the Jets. I love Quentin Williams. I love that he got paid. Tell his brother if he hits Jalen Hurts out of bounds, we're going to have some problems. But that being said, I love this for the Jets. I think that Quentin Williams is a top 5 D tackle, obviously, in the league. For now, until Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis catch their stride. That being said, listen, the Jets, they are going to win in the trenches with Aaron Rodgers, and then have Aaron Rodgers chuck the pillow around the yard, and then they're going to run the football. The Jets, to me, are going to be that team that's going to – everyone's talking about the Bills and the Bengals and the Chiefs. That fourth team is the Jets in the AFC. And the AFC is going to have one team that should make the championship that is going to lose to those Jets. The Jets will not make the Super Bowl because there's one problem. I do not trust them yet. They could end up being actually that team. I want to see their secondary play, their back end, the secondary safeties play a little better. It's the same issue Philadelphia has, a lot of unproven guys. But if they can keep that pass rush healthy, Matt, yeah, the sky's the limit for y'all. It is literally the sky's the limit. The ceiling is the roof. The ceiling is the roof.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not forget who's at quarterback and what happens when everything's on the line and big tilt game and so let's not quite forget about that. And I think Matt, while he's still very excited and he has very much reason to be excited, will acknowledge that I guess he's number 8 now, right? Not 12. He's number 8.
He is number 8
that is
from
his kryptonite,
Cal
man.
University.
There we go. I like that. Nice little throwback. But hey, man, we know what this guy has done for the last, I guess, back-to-back seasons.
I'm going to blame the Packers personnel department for that one. I won't Mace. I won't blame Rodgers.
I don't know about 2 years ago, man. At home against San Fran, that was pretty unforgivable, dude.
That San Fran team was mean.
Okay, no, and that defense was raw, dude. Let's not get that mixed up. But hey, dude,
that was their coming out party, Mace. Like that was like when everyone was like. I remember I was at a bar with a bunch of my friends, and it was packed. But we were watching the game when we could. And my buddy Trev tapped me on my shoulder. He goes, "Yo, Jay, is San Fran's defense that fucking good, or is Rodgers bumming it?" I'm like, he's not having a great game, and the Packers defense is coaching like shit.
Yeah,
but dude, the Niners defense was just lights out.
Yeah, I think that's when people started to actually take note of just DeMeco Ryans being a great coordinator. Was that sort of playoff run? But yeah, that was a great game, man. Low scoring, great defense, turnovers. They had the blocked punt that ended in the touchdown. That was great. It was freezing cold. But I mean, Rodgers was the MVP that year. Home field advantage. I think they were the 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken. So hey, they're gonna be great, Matt. I will not sit here as a Patriots fan and say that, look, everybody's in over their head about, them not being good, because they'll make the playoffs and they'll be good and they'll be a sleeper team to make it to the Super Bowl. No doubt about it. But ultimately, it's going to fall on the shoulders of Aaron Rodgers about whether or not they can actually, make a deep run in the playoffs and potentially win a Super Bowl.
I
agree with you.
Go, Matt, about your Jets, brother. You're good. Go.
Oh, my bad. Everything. I completely agree with what you're saying. Cause it's in the back of my head when the postseason comes in. Because I'm very confident for the regular season, but it's definitely in the back of my mind to think about. Even though he's bad, back-to-back MVPs the last 3 or 4 years, it's It's definitely I think about it a lot. So when that time comes, I hope he steps up. But I'm confident in the defense. He hasn't had a defense like this in a long time. He hasn't had this versatile of weapons on offense in a long time. So I'm hoping that he uses that and he can acknowledge there's times when you need to dump the ball off and there's times when you need to throw it. And hopefully it's a different story for him and he has a Tom Brady like departure where he wins the Super Bowl with the next team. So
I mean,
just
no, that
stay
would
positive
be.
on this one.
Yeah, no, I think Jets fans. I mean, Matt. I think you would take this deal 11 times out of 10, right? I mean, 2-year contract for the guy. He comes over this year, wins the Super Bowl, retires. I think you would take that in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, you give Zach Wilson a full year or two under him. Puts him into his 5th-year option if Rodgers plays the next 2 years, even if they win a Super Bowl. And maybe you take the risk on a 5th-year option.
Jets win a Super Bowl, man. Ultimately,
exactly.
right?
And then I just hope and pray that,
Joining us on the drums, this man is one of the smartest human beings in football. I respect his opinion more than most people on this planet. He is a host of the High Low Sports Podcast, the Bert and Ernie of the Belly Up Sports crew, and the Hunter Renfrow stunt double for his upcoming biopic. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Stewart!
Honestly, Hunter Renfrow might as well be my stunt double at this point, too, because I've taken all the damage over my life.
Goddamn right. I love it.
I'm the one who needs the WD-40 to get out of bed. He's good. Like, he's fine. He's still healthy.
We're talking Quinn Williams, Jets Super Bowl possibilities. I want to drop this take here. My Birds, it's Super Bowl or bust this year. Listen, it took a bad ref and bad turf to beat us last year. Kansas City, be proud of yourselves. Here's the kicker. If we don't win, if there's any team that's going to beat us, the only team I would accept beating us is Rodgers and the Jets. Anybody else,
come on,
I would be ripshit pissed. Fuck the Niners. I want those little crybabies stomped into submission. Mahomes, y'all know I want to freaking give him a buzz cut with that stupid ass haircut of his. And then Haley Steinfeld, I love you. I want your boyfriend to get smacked by Hassan Reddick. Don't start.
How about Cincy?
Joe Burr, no, I don't care. Like they're the most overhyped. Everyone's like talking about Joe Burr being the next dude because he made it to the Super Bowl in the second season. I think he's great. He's a top 5 quarterback. There's no question. But here's the kicker, right? Like it's like that team still has a lot of flaws, and everyone's ignoring them because it's Joe Burrow, and everyone's thinking he's Tom Brady. But Tom Brady had an amazing defense to get himself to where he was,
and a great coach,
Tom Brady. The Bengals defense is okay. It's not great. It's 2017 Eagles good. But like the 2017 Eagles could light you up on the scoreboard. They needed the defense to bend, not break. With the Bengals, it's bend and bend some more. And I'm kind of the Bengals to me are that team that I think it's going to be Chiefs Jets in the NFC Championship game. That is my prediction right now. Write it in stone. Because the Jets top to bottom, I trust more than the Bills. And I trust them top to bottom 1 to 53 more than the Bengals. But they're better in a lot of places than the Bengals, and the Bills are better in a lot of places than the Jets. But the Jets have one thing that those teams do not have, is that they don't have a weak position. They have okay positions. Whereas with the Bills and Bengals, there are positions where I look at the roster and I'm like, y'all really want to roll with this guy as your starter? All right, well, we know Tre'Davious White's going to get hurt by week 4 again, but shit, okay. We'll roll with a bunch of me, Mason, and DJs playing corner for them. It's all good. Apparently DeMar Hamlin's playing. That's great because he had a great season last year before he got hurt. And his speech in the ESPYs was great. Also, Pat McAfee's stand-up was amazing. I hate the ESPYs. I despise ESPN, but that was awesome stand-up. Pat, welcome to ESPN. If anybody's going to make them back to what they were when we liked them back when we were kids, it's you, my friend. And Mr. Wilson actually brought up an interesting point. Kevin, I would love for your Seahawks to win, but Geno's got to prove to me he can beat them when it counts. I love Geno. I'm a big Geno stan. Matt knows this. I'm a big Geno Smith stan. Here's the kicker. I want him to beat the fucking Niners. I don't like the 49ers. They annoy the fuck out of me. because their fans complain about everything, their players complain about everything, and they get their ass kicked. So that's my. We've been talking about the Jets for like an hour, and then it turned into NFC, AFC shit. But there's some beef going on in the NFL, Matthew. Asante Samuel, Darrell Revis, Asante Samuel Jr., Sauce Gardner. What the? Darius Slay's apparently involved now.
So is Gardner Johnson.
What the fuck is happening?
So
level
it
up
was
for it.
very, very random because I don't even know. It got to the point where Darius Slay, who almost to me is just like the father of cornerbacks in the league, because he just rallied up all of the defensive backs and put them in a Twitter space to hash all of this shit out. So like I just thought Darius Slay was like, he's like the dad of like 5, and he's like, all right,
He's
kids,
the
we need to
mayor
figure
of
this out.
Cornerbackville.
Yeah,
He's the mayor of Cornerbackville.
it's like everybody would call Josh McCown Unk. It's like that's Unk for the cornerback.
Yeah, Darius Slay is Unk. He's the Snoop Dogg of corners.
So So it all started with I don't remember what platform. I know it was Twitter. I don't remember what was the account that maybe it was Football Focus put out something like who's the number 1 cornerback in your mind right now, and it was like Sauce Gardner. It was it was like Darius Slay. It was it was just a bunch of random cornerbacks. Jalen Ramsey was in there, but they didn't put Tariq Woolen in there. So Asante Samuel, I think, retweeted it or said something about like, the New York media. Sauce has the media because it's a big hyped up New York media, and Tariq Woolen should be up there, which I'm not saying is wrong. Like Tariq Woolen had a fantastic year last year. So Gardner chimed in and was defending himself because this guy's pretty much saying he's only hyped up because of media. I was like, well, this guy's a offensive rookie of the year, an all-pro, a Pro Bowler in his one season. I think that is clause to put him up in a top cornerback conversation, not saying he's number 1. So they went back and forth. Asante Samuel then said something about the media has New York's back. Look at Darrell Revis. What did he do that was so special? And I was like, what did he do that was so special? Did you see that 2009 season when he locked up everybody? And after and before and everything, like this man is one of the best the lockdown corners of the generation. He's a first round Hall of Famer in Canton. I was like, this man has credentials. This man won a Super Bowl. This man is one of the best. Asante Samuel, I'm sorry that you are not in that category, but
listen, do not diss my boy Asante.
Well, I'm not gonna diss him.
Because that was a fight coming if you said some disrespect.
No, I'm saying he's not top 5, but he's not like
Revis is here. Asante is here. Asante to me is still a top 20 corner all time. The problem is, once he went to Atlanta, he faded out because they had him play nickel, and he just was like, fuck, I'll retire.
Yeah. Well, so Darrell Revis got in there very quickly, and he was calling him a lot of words, and was pretty much telling him to check yourself. YouTube's real. Go look at my highlights. All the good stuff. And Darius and Gardner Johnson chimed in and was defending Tariq Woolen, which is fine because obviously Tariq Woolen is a very talented young quarterback. And so him and Sauce are going back and forth. And Darius Slay chimed in and was like, "Why is all this hate going on? Like, why did the older generation have to hate on the younger generation? Why can't we all just like hype each other up and like have everybody's back?" DJ Reed chimed in. A bunch of other Jets chimed in Sauce's defense. And all of a sudden, there's a Twitter space with like 10 cornerbacks in the NFL just like talking. But the funny thing was with Asante Samuel is every point that he made, somebody had the counter for it. Like he was not winning any argument, and he was getting shut down, and he just kept it going, and he wound up ending it with like, "Don't take my tweets the wrong way towards Gardner. Like you're great, this and that." And he's like, no, don't back down now. So I don't know what happened, but when I tell you everybody in the woodwork of current and former and beyond was just chiming in, and it was just a very interesting like Monday. It was like a great start to the week, and just the whole intervention on Twitter was amazing to see that happen.
I was going to ask you guys this once DJ got here. I was trying to hold this topic off as long as possible until he showed up. Who is your top corner? I like Sauce. I think Sauce is great, but I want to see more than one season. Listen, Nnamdi Asomugha was a best cornerback in football for a season and a half. I think Sauce is obviously better on tape. Everything he does is just so perfect. But to me, like, you have to give the credit to, I think the best young, you really can't pick a best corner, I think all their individual fucking spaces. The best overall, like the most well-rounded young corner is Surtain. Then you go to the best older corner, it's Slay. Jalen Ramsey still got to be put in this conversation. Then you also have to look at J.C. Horn. Then you have to look at other guys. There's A.J. Terrell.
Marlon Humphrey.
Then you look at the Marlon Humphrey, the best physical corner. James Bradbury, the best man-to-man press, one of the best man-to-man press guys. There's a lot of good the problem is cornerbacks aren't like circle peg into circle hole anymore. They come in all different varieties. So some of them are very fluid, athletic guys with good speed, like Slay. Some of them are freak athletes, like Byron Jones used to be. Rest in peace to his knees. Some of them are just lockdown machines, like Sauce Gardner. The problem is ranking cornerbacks may be the hardest thing to do in football because of how different that position can be based on your defensive scheme. Listen, Richard Sherman would be ass in a man-to-man system, but he's a Hall of Famer in a zone system. Darrelle Revis, great zone corner, top 5 all-time in man-to-man coverage. Cornerback is a subjective position. Mario Williams, if he played 4-3 edge rushers his entire career, would probably be a Hall of Famer, but he did not. He was an outside linebacker in a 3-4 system for 80% of his career, and that is why he will not make the Hall of Fame. He was good, but he wasn't great.
I agree with that.
It's what it is. Defense, besides the position of middle linebacker and safety, is scheme driven. It is. TJ Watt would be an average pass rusher as a fan of the ground guy, but as a linebacker, him and guys like Terrell Suggs, who are movable guys, movable pieces, it's just a different breed. So defense is subjective when it comes to things. The right guy in the right scheme is elite. I guarantee Deion Jordan would make a couple Pro Bowls if he was in the right system coming out of college, but he was not. Same thing with a lot of these tall, skinny pass rushers. If they were in the right system, it worked for them. But the problem is, half the teams want to put their hand in the ground. Half of these guys want to use them. That's why, like this year with Nick Sirianni, he goes, "Hey, John, Dickhead Gannon, I want you to put Hassan Reddick as a mobile pass rusher, like Terrell Suggs. Just do that." And look, Reddick basically just was a game breaker. Reddick's not a put your hand in the ground pass rusher. Never was. And that is why defense needs to be more malleable, right? So with corners, trying to rank cornerback, why this beef is hilarious, is because Asante Samuel was the best pick six artist I'd ever seen in my life. But Darrelle Revis was not going to get you interceptions, but he's going to lock your best receiver up for an entire game. They're two different sides of the same coin. If you want to talk about the best guy to force turnovers, the first guy in my head is Asante Samuel. But want to talk about the guy who is going to lock your guy up for an entire 60 minutes? It's Revis. And the hybrid between them is Deion Sanders, who's the GOAT. But that's easy.
Yeah. You really can't argue that one with Deion Sanders. But no, I agree. I mean, and I'm not saying Sauce is the best corner in the league by any means. It's 1 year. It's one fantastic year, but it's 1 year. So, like, let me see 3 or 4 more years of that, and I think we can put him in the category of possibly sprintly. But until then, like, I just have to see more. You can't just put somebody as the best after one season. I think another sleeper that we really haven't mentioned is Yari Alexander, with a phenomenal year last year as well. A guy that can lock you down.
I watched AJ
Not saying,
Brown I watched AJ Brown punk his ass live, bro. And then him fake an injury for a cramp and then flick off the Eagles crowd. We booed him. But my personal
Marshawn Lattimore too.
Listen, Marshawn Lattimore's a dog. I don't want to hear anything about it. That dude is so criminally underrated, and I hate the Saints. Everyone knows this. I actually legit have nightmares over Marshawn Lattimore. Jair Alexander is just a skinny, fast corner with good ball skills. He cannot cover a physical receiver. He goes up against a boy like Amari Cooper or A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, guys who can get off your press coverage and beat your footwork, and he's going to beat you. Jair Alexander is great against guys like Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle, who rely on their speed to get off you, because Alexander can close that gap. That's my opinion on Alexander. He's the best cornerback against speed receivers.
That's fair. I'm just glad we mentioned AJ Terrell because I think he's the most criminally underrated one in the league right now. 2 years ago, he had the best coverage grade by far, and it wasn't even close, and nobody even mentions him for a Pro Bowl. Last year, he's another fantastic season, and he's playing with Tweedledee and Tweedledum across the board. Like, name someone else on their defense. No, most people can't really name a whole lot else. Maybe Grady Jarrett is one that comes to mind, but
is Vic Beasley still a thing?
I don't think so. I think he's bounced around too. Like, he's a one-man show out there, and we going against Tom Brady twice a year as well, going against the Saints with their receivers. Like, he's outstanding. He's criminally underrated. Everyone just keeps giving him ish because of that national championship game against Jamar Chase like 4 years ago. People can't get that out of their head, even though that was college. But he's absolutely fantastic out there. He's plays well in zone, plays well in man, good tackler, good ball skills. I think AJ Terrell has as good a case as anybody, considering he's done it for a couple of years too. Obviously, Sauce's one season, Surtain's one season are better than either of Terrell's, but he's had two of them that are like 85% of that. So I give Terrell a nod if we're going to have to put somebody closer to the top because he's a younger guy too. He's not. So I'd say Terrell has a really strong case towards the top right now.
I think Surtain gets the dub because he's just so good at everything. I think it's still at 2. You have to put a guy like Slay, who basically locked up J-Jets for an entire ball game while his ankle was fucking hanging by a thread. This isn't even fan bias because I thought Slay was washed. I wanted us to get rid of him. And then I watched him constantly lock up receiver after receiver. We didn't have to worry about covering the other side of the field. The last 2 years, Slay's been an Eagle for 3 years now. His first year, his number 2 corner was Jaquan Jaquette, I think was his last name.
Jaquan Jarrett?
No, that was the Temple safety who we won't talk about. Then he had Steve Nelson. Steve Nelson, amazing corner, underrated as hell, great number 2. Then he had Bradbury. And you saw when he only has to worry about the guy in front of him, Slay is an elite corner, and we saw the last 2 years. I think he's one of those well-rounded guys. He falls in the same categories as like not Byron Jones, like a Xavier Howard, a Jalen Ramsey, where these guys are just very well-rounded. They don't do anything incredibly like top tier. They're just A- at everything. That's why they're at the top. But I think Surtain to me is that one corner. Besides Devontae Smith roasted his ass, when they played each other, I honestly think Surtain gets my vote for now. That's the one position. It's like receiver where it changes every year depending on the stats.
While we're on the cornerback topic, is there any updates on Jack Jones and his
my boy going to prison? Massachusetts gun laws are fucking bullshit, and his are illegal. He's fucked.
Does that leave the other one? The other one's Jones too. Jim Jones, John Jones. Very
Something
much
Jones.
not any of those. Yeah. James Jones. He's
I mean,
hired.
but Jared, at the same time, it's like you can't go through Logan Airport with like multiple.
Yeah,
like,
no. Listen,
Yeah,
Mass
dude,
gun laws
like-
are bullshit for possession alone. But when you go to a fucking airport, dude, that's just common sense. Like,
No, and someone made like a really good point to me, in that it's pretty ironic and pretty funny, but this is really logical when you think about it. I mean, how many times has this dude not flown private? How many times is this dude not on a Patriots charter jet or like Robert Kraft's like plane that the Patriots fly on, where there's no security, you get bussed out to the tarmac, and you're putting your stuff in the bottom of the plane, and you're walking on the plane, and you can bring in anything. How many times is this dude flying commercial and going through regular TSA security, and having all your bags x-rayed? So, I mean, it's common sense for us, and I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy by any means at all. But when you think about it that way, I think it's more logical from thinking about it from his perspective, in that, how this dude probably literally doesn't know the rules, like of that you cannot bring like weapons, even if he has a license. I mean, you would probably know more about this, Jared, than me. But I mean, I can't
Massachusetts
imagine
gun
it's
license
legal.
Rules are fucking insane. It's
Yeah.
like I'm trying to get mine right now. I think the rules are still I have to get a state trooper. So I'm hoping on the Vineyard I can go talk to the one state trooper who lives out there and see if he'll sign off my permit. But Massachusetts is super restrictive on the gun laws, and so
Yeah.
it's not like you're in Texas or in like Nevada
Oklahoma.
or Florida or Oklahoma or Missouri, where basically it's almost free reign. But you're in a fucking airport.
Right.
Airport is a no-go zone. It's like a government building or a school. Unless you're an armed security guard, there should be nothing with any trace of gunpowder on you. My pistol instructor, when I did my class about 2 years ago, said to me, I know you have firearm experience. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I do, obviously. And he goes, yeah, let me tell you something. If you're ever going to fly, do not wear any clothes you fired guns with in the last 2 months. Because gunpowder residue to dogs lingers on clothes for hours. Like, I've shot in this shirt before. I've had my pistol underneath this shirt before. That means there's gunpowder residue on this. I can't wear this shirt to the airport. That's what it is. I've worn this hat shooting. Can't wear it to the airport.
Yeah.
Because it sticks.
Right. I mean, ultimately, it's so just like ridiculous that
it's 22
it even
years past
happened.
9/11. It's still real. Like,
Right.
TSA
Dude.
don't fuck
No,
around.
I mean you are exactly right. Exactly right. And I mean it's just for a professional athlete that's making millions of dollars, that is surrounded by good people within the Patriots, right? Smart people, right, that are trying to protect players. It's just like, I don't know where the sort of disconnect is, but ultimately it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's, maybe this dude replaces our man Morant as clown of all time, bro, because that is about as bonehead as it gets, dude.
Well, DJ's our official judge. DJ, do you think it's time we break up Mr. Harper?
It's worth a shout. All I'm saying is it is absolutely worth a shout.
Well,
right.
He'll be dethroning AJ Brown.
Class is in Antonio. Watch your whore mouth, man.
Ah, shit. We talked about too many AJs. Yeah, never mind.
All right.
That's a clown question, bro.
Emergency session of Clown Question, brought to you by the great people at SeatGeek. Listen, promo code Belly Up, $40 off your first purchase. It's totally worth it. Anyway, gentlemen, we're calling this middle of the show because Mason may have had the haymaker. Ja has been dethroned now once. Antonio Brown knocked him off. Antonio Brown will put John Moran out here, and now we have Jones for bringing not one, but two loaded weapons. And here's the kicker:
and enough ammunition to last him a long time,
firearm
man.
Enthusiast, there is one no-no. I don't care if you have high-capacity magazines. I don't give a fuck. I think it's a total farce watching the government tell you can't have a 30-round magazine. Whatever. I'm not saying it. Listen, if you want to not follow the law, do you. Do not ever get caught with one. If you were going to bring a concealed weapon and check it at baggage or whatever and say, listen, it is safetied, it is unloaded. Have the 10-round magazine that's standard for federal use. Don't use I didn't even remember what the number was this guy had in the magazine, right? They said high-capacity weapon case, something like that, right? So, Mr. Jones, you and your ironically gun bullshit is now challenging Antonio Brown's poor leadership of the Albany Empire. Shout out Ryan McCarthy. And Mr. Morant's strip club and Instagram Live gun rules. Mr. Stewart, you are the king of the court here. You are gonna take the first vote here. Is Antonio Brown finally dethroned? Is Mr. Jones going to take him out? Or is Antonio still riding high?
So since this one came out, we were always talking about kind of waiting to see what his punishment was before we can anoint him clown. So we were always kind of waiting on that, like, hey, let's see what the punishment is first. Let's let it play out. But honestly, the fact that nothing's still happened yet, I think at some point he's got to take over the spot. So I'm saying Jack Jones takes over. No, you can't even take a shaving razor to an airport. What makes you think you could bring guns with ammunition? Like, they frisk you and check your butthole if you bring a shaving razor just to make sure you don't have anything else. Like what you can actually get away with taking on an airport is incredibly limited for a good reason. You have to take little tiny shampoo bottles like the size of a fist, and you think you could take a gun? That's a separate kind of stupid.
Well, yeah, it's like not just one, but two, and enough ammunition to last
He's
you
playing
quite
Call of Duty at
some
the airport.
time.
This isn't Modern Warfare 2. What is he doing? This isn't
Exactly, man.
Stop!
This
No
isn't
Russian
the
jokes.
no Russian mission, man.
I
Like,
know, right?
this
Oh,
is-
by the way, shout out to Call of Duty because now they're purchased by Xbox. Every single Call of Duty game is on Game Pass, and all their servers are cleaned of hackers. God bless you, Microsoft. All right. One thing I was going to say is because I've actually gotten nailed by TSA before because I had beignets mix for my sister in my bag, and they saw a powdery substance in a concealed plastic bag inside of my fucking luggage, and we had to sit in front of TSA for an hour while they tore the bag apart. They tore the package. I'm like, it's beignets mix. They're like, you're not trying to smoke cocaine? I'm like, no, I'm half asleep and hungover. Why would I want cocaine? But yes, that was the time that TSA tried to say I was smuggling drugs.
We went on a family vacations. We were coming back. We were already very much late for our plane, but we had to wait even longer because my father-in-law has a pacemaker on his chest, and he had a vest attached to him at the time under his shirt, and he let them know. But when you go through the X-rays and everything, it looks like you have a bomb strapped to your chest. So they had to pull him aside. They take his shirt off, check out, and make sure it was all good. And then we got on the plane 5 minutes after the boarding time was finished. Thankfully, they let us in. But yeah, that was a fun time at TSA. They stopped my father because he had an e-cig, and they thought the cord in the e-cig was a bomb and everything. And I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, the thing that I was thinking about, and funny enough, I was literally in Boston when all of this went down. And the thing that was going through my mind was, imagine being like 2 or 3 people in the TSA security line behind this dude. Like, imagine seeing all of this go down in real time, and this dude just like, I mean, hey man, who's to say that he didn't intentionally bring it? You know, and that just makes him look like a bigger idiot, right? I mean, I can't imagine that Jack Jones was about to, go to Logan Airport and, commit a mass murder, but it's just so insane. I mean, I am looking forward to hearing what he has to say during all of the prosecution, because it's like, what is going through your mind, man? What is going through your mind? I mean, maybe he was on some substance. Who knows? Who really knows? But I think he's got to replace Ja. I really think he does.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
my
with
vote
that.
is for him to replace.
My vote is for Jones. Matthew, your vote.
My vote is for Jones. I don't care if you aren't aware of the rules or not. It should be just common sense that you should not bring 2 very much loaded guns into an airport.
Exactly.
So it's got to be Jones. That's worse than getting a team, not paying them, and then playing for your own team and then shutting it down.
DJ, you are the king of this court. You are the head judge. Your vote carries 4 votes. Let us know. Is it finally time for Antonio's 4-week reign of terror to end?
We're going to go 4 for 4. Jones, you have taken over. The week is yours, my friend.
Oh,
Cheers.
my God. Listen, it's happened, folks. Ever since Ja has been dethroned, we now have not 1, not 2, but 3. 3 different people have been Clown of the Week. Shout out to Jack Jones. We have a new Clown of the Week. I love it. I love when we did like an emergency session in the middle of the episode, by the way.
Cheers to Jack Jones. Cheers to Jack Jones.
Cheers. You were a great Patriot, Jack, but now you will be spending most likely the next, I don't know,
And then you'll play for the Oakland Raiders or Philadelphia Eagles.
Double-digit years, man, in a high maximum level security prison.
Won't.
Hey, well, I'll tell you this: he's probably never playing in the NFL again. I can tell you that, man.
No.
Has
he been released yet?
Dude,
no, man. I don't think there's been any.
He'll play next season.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Listen, the gun. Okay, so gun rights are such a divisive issue, but it's also a split issue. a lot of
I
people
just don't know, man. I mean, it's so
if he's
inexcusable.
gonna get cut, he
dude.
might miss a couple of games. Somebody's gonna grab him at the end of the season if he gets cut. It's
hot take right here. He's going to play next year. He's going to have a fantastic season. He's going to go to the Pro Bowl. He's going to get first team honors. And then as he's accepting the Player of the Year award or whatever, the police are going to come on the SB stage, put his hands behind his back, arrest him on live TV, and he's going to go out with the uttermost bang, pun intended.
Love it.
Kind of
Everything.
ironic how his best game that really had him stand out last year was against the Jets, and it's going to be an airport that ends up ending his career.
I still think, and I will put money on the fact he plays this season. I just do. I you know what? As much as a bonehead fucking move, he didn't kill anybody, he didn't hurt anybody. There was no intention of a team of good lawyers can throw this out as a fine and public service and the suspension.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get a
he'll
lot
be
of
fine.
prison time.
He's too good of a corner. He'll play again. He might miss a couple games this year, but he's going to play a full season next year. It's the funny thing is everyone looks at it as like he did something horrible wrong. It's like everyone's views on guns and it's a little skewed. A good lawyer will get this tossed down to freaking a misdemeanor, so maybe a week and a half of jail time, and a prison and some community service. There was no firearm discharge. Fucking Dante Stallworth killed a guy and ran him over. Only served 30 days. Let's chill.
Listen, if Sheldon Richardson could street race with a loaded gun in his car with also drugs at the time that were illegal and a minor in his car and still finished out his entire career playing in the NFL, I think Jack Jones will be okay.
Yeah, apparently, and now because of that, Jalen Carter now is also being allegedly sued for that the street racing incident I cannot talk today, apparently. The street racing incident, the grad assistant who was in the opposing car is apparently now suing the University of Georgia and Jalen Carter for that incident. I mean, listen, Jalen, now you're part of the Eagles family. What you did wasn't great, but you know what? T's and P's.
And then we also have some breaking news within the Northwestern Athletics program to segue.
What a good transition.
Northwestern, this is ESPN here, Northwestern fires baseball coach Jim Foster after allegations of bullying and toxic environment within the program. So it two coaches.
So they're just going to start going through everything. Now, me, Mason, and Matt all have a friend who went to Northwestern. He has no comment. I haven't talked to him in a while, and I would love to get his opinion on this, obviously. But I also have a friend who was in the Northwestern journalism department, and they said this shit's crazy. And they said, one, the Northwestern journalism department, the fact that students put this together with the student paper or whatever the fuck it was, is nothing new. Because the fact is Northwestern is the best journalism department in the country. And the other kicker is that if there's two, there's not just two. If it was just Pat Fitzgerald and was an isolated incident, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is they caught something. They caught some smoke, there's some sparks, and now there's a fire kicking. So this is wild now. Their baseball coach going down. Was their basketball coach next? Are we talking hockey? What's happening after this?
I think what's even funnier to add to the situation is that it's Northwestern. Athletics are not it's not like the University of Oklahoma, right? It's not like Alabama. It's not like Michigan or Ohio State or USC, right? Athletics take a backseat to academics at that institution. It doesn't take an idiot to know that. So what's funny is that, for what? You're creating this crummy environment for players or whatever. For what? For what? You're never going to be national champions. You're never going to be in the mix to make the playoff. You're probably not going to be in the New Year's Six bowl games. I guess you're lucky. In past years, they've made it to the Big Ten championship and gotten waxed by Michigan or Penn State or Ohio State, but what's the point? It's like if Vanderbilt, their football and baseball coach got fired for hazing and bullying and verbal abuse and all these things that are making players uncomfortable. It's just like, for what? The athletics program is not the priority at that institution.
It's just, this whole thing to me is just, it's been so weird. And
it's extremely bizarre. It's extremely bizarre.
So bizarre. And the thing is, like, I was listening to McAfee, I think it was this Monday or Tuesday, and they were actually describing what was going on. I was like, this just seems like some dude's got some real fucking issues at this point. Like, Pat Fitzgerald's got some shit he's got to work out in therapy. Or in prison, whatever you prefer. But
I mean, hey, man, we're all old enough. I can remember it. You guys probably remember it. I mean, the whole Mike Leach situation, rest in peace to him. He was a great coach, but we're all old enough to remember the incident that went down at Texas Tech where they were doing summer workouts or whatever, and he locked that kid in like a shed. And after that came out, there were a whole other slew of, incidents that were sort of similar to that. And I guess Texas Tech around that time was actually pretty good with Michael Crabtree and guys like that. But, even Texas Tech, is above the sort of level that Northwestern is. Northwestern athletics are not, I can't say it enough. That it's not the priority at that university. It's not OU. It's not, Alabama. It's not Michigan. It's not Ohio State. It's just not. It's not on the same level. So it's so weird to me. It's just random.
there you go. All right. Any other thoughts on the Northwestern way to Wildcats?
I just saw that as of Monday, they did also fire longtime football head coach Pat Fitzgerald as well. So add that to the list of fiery coaches from that university.
Nice.
Fair enough. All right. This was the title of the episode. We've talked about it at about a 30% clip. Let me see if there's any other NFL. There's no Dalvin Cook or DeAndre Hopkins check-in because, honestly, there hasn't anything happened.
Apparently, I know the Patriots made him an offer, and apparently the Titans made him a more aggressive offer. But at the same time, I think we can all agree if you're going to ring chase, I just don't think the Patriots aren't the team anymore to ring chase. Titans are definitely not going to get you a ring. The Bills are like, hey, we'll take him if he wants to ring chase. I don't know what he's going to do. I feel like he's going to just go to. I'm feeling like the Browns or the Texans again on it. I just don't know what it is. It's just that gut feeling, and neither of them are going to get him a ring. So DeAndre. Do you?
You do you. All right. Saquon Barkley, apparently the negotiations starting to pick up with him and the Giants. That's good for the Giants fans out there.
He keeps turning down these contracts, though. I mean, he was reportedly offered contracts that were paying within 14.5, then 12 something, now 10 something a year, and he's turning them all down. Most recent contract was going to give him almost 20 million guaranteed, but he's also saying he's not looking for a record-setting contract. So I don't know what you want, Saquon. I've seen a lot of numbers thrown out there, but I just you're a 26-year-old running back. You're in your 6th season. You had your first healthy season since your rookie year. I'm taking what I'm getting right now. Like if you're offering 14.5 million a year, I'm taking that. But I mean, we'll see what he does. I don't think he's going to sit out because that has not shown well for athletes that sit out. So I expect him to either sign this thing on Monday or sign a deal. I just don't see him playing this year.
I think the other point, Matt. This goes with him not being fully healthy. But this has been his best season. Yeah. So it's just like, with running backs, man, their careers are so short-lived in the NFL. Guys like Derrick Henry are so rare that can give you, 15, 16, now 17 games a year and put up serious production, and it's actually you're getting the return. You're getting the adequate return on whatever contract you offer them. Saquon has been, like you said, Matt, this previous season was his first healthy year since his rookie year. And the return, I mean, they selected him, what, 4th overall, I believe?
Third. No, second overall.
Okay. So, I mean, a super high top 5 first-round pick, that's a lot of capital that you're giving up for a dude that's been healthy for 2 seasons and who's been good for really like 1. And so they're not going to be willing to commit a ton of money to you after giving, Daniel Jones the extension or re-signing him or however you want to think about it. So, I mean, it's just like, take what you can get. I mean, I will say, if he doesn't sign the tag, there's a team out there that's absolutely going to pay him 100%. They're going to take the gamble, and whether they're right, whether they're wrong, who knows? But there's someone out there that's going to pay him for sure.
When you look at Daniel Jones with Saquon Barkley, a guy who just got paid $40 million. You look at him without Saquon Barkley, though, that's a guy that should be out of the league 30 million days ago. So I think the Giants kind of backed themselves into a corner with this. They have to find a way to keep him. And if I'm Saquon, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, how about 17 million? You gave that guy the bag, and I keep him afloat.
They also just took on Darren Waller's contract, and now and you're looking at him like you still don't have a legitimate wide receiver 1.
Harris Campbell's nice for those 1.5 quarters he's healthy.
And to your point, BJ, I mean, I would be willing to bet. I mean, not willing. Like, I know for a fact Saquon knows that information. He's very aware of the fact that if you would like to continue to have me play for the New York Giants, and you just extended and gave Daniel Jones a nice payday, I'm expecting the exact same thing or more, because I have kept you guys afloat in a tough division that's good every single year. And, last year they won a playoff game. So, I mean, he absolutely knows that information. He's definitely using it to his advantage. And, yeah, I mean, I think for the Giants, yeah, it's just one of these situations where they back themselves into a corner and now there's nothing they can do about it, and they'll probably end up losing it.
I actually have a fun thing I'm just coming across, and it's on NFL posted a post, and it says guys that wore these jersey numbers before they became mainstream. The last Baltimore Raven to wear number 8, Matt Schaub. The last man to wear Patrick Holmes' number, AJ Jenkins. Mr. Klim's Eagles, who was the last number 1, Cameron Johnston.
I know, the Australian Hammer. I love that motherfucker.
The last guy to wear Justin Jefferson's number was Jeff Locke. Kelsey was Steven Meniere. Saquon was Orleans Darkwood. Burrows was Carson Palmer. And Justin Herbert's was Kellen Clemens. This is actually kind of funny, though. Justin Fields' number 1 was Cody Parker.
Not Cody Parkey. No.
Mr. Missing Field Goals, brother.
And then DK Metcalf came out with his top 5 all-time receiver list and listed Antonio Brown as 1, followed by Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, then Jerry Rice, and Julio Jones.
Listen, some of these young bucks don't understand how disgusting Jerry Rice was.
Yeah, I just don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen,
Jared, they weren't there, man. They don't know, man. They can only
got to see the last 2 years of his career. 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, you think about it, dude. I mean, most of these guys are a little bit older than me.
They're between our ages. So, like,
right.
DK, so it's crazy, right? So, like, I got to watch Julio Jones. I remember on draft day, I think, like 10 years old, and they made that fucking trade for Julio, where they traded literally 1,000 draft picks for him. And they still think to this day the Browns found a way to fuck that up. On top of that, like Megatron was just something different.
Yeah.
Larry Fitz, same thing.
And I'm at that, like you're saying, dude, I'm at that weird age where it's like, I absolutely remember the peak Julio Jones days for sure. I mean, I remember that dude at Bama. But Megatron is like, I remember the later days of the Lions. So I kind of remember him, but I mean, I'm for sure old enough to remember the Andre Johnsons, the Julio Jones. I mean, I remember growing up going to those games with my dad.
Andre Johnson was AJ Brown before AJ Brown.
Yeah, man.
Everyone talks about like AJ Brown's like the next hero. No. AJ Brown's Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
Because
Andre Johnson, man, that dude was a dog. He was a dog, and he was tough as nails. He was, I mean, other than J.J. Watt, man, I mean, he is easily the best. The second best Texan, for sure, no doubt about it. He was great.
Let's not forget the best Calvin Johnson story of it all. At the combine, he decided to run the 40 in somebody else's shoes and ran a 4.39 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, he forgot his spikes.
He wasn't going to run. He said he wasn't going to, but someone convinced him to. And he was like, okay, fine, give me your shoes. Casual 4.38 at 240 pounds and 6'5". Like,
didn't Andre Johnson run like a 4.35?
I think he was like a 4.5. I don't think he ran that fast.
He
Johnson
was a dog, man.
Johnson was the best 40 time. That's why he went at 5. He went like 3 or 4 overall.
Yeah, that was Calvin Johnson. I was saying Andre Johnson didn't run quite as fast.
No, Andre Johnson. I'm going to look it up because I think he ran a fast one.
That's crazy. Matt Schaub is probably top 5 greatest Texans of all time, and that franchise is like barely 21 years old or whatever it is.
Yeah, Matt. No, and that was like, I remember those days
4-4-1
so
DJ.
Vividly, dude. All of the years of going. Sorry. Go ahead, you guys.
No, okay, so Andre Johnson officially ran a 4.41. His lowest time was a 4.37, and his highest time was a 4.48. So the official time 4.41. So like. The thing is, as it's crazy. Like one of my favorite Hurricanes, and I rarely got to watch him, was Andre Johnson. And everyone forgets, dude was 6'3" and ran a 4.340.
He was a freak, dude. He was. I mean, he carried that team for years
and he was a dog.
Oh yeah, dude.
Whooped Cortland Finnegan.
Yes, dude.
Like he whooped Cortland Finnegan. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, but
we didn't
Matt,
even talk
dude.
about what the whole point of this title episode is today. We can talk about so much football. I love football, by the way. We got to talk about this shit because honestly, Home Run Derby was very fun. And the All-Star game, very entertaining. MLB just does it better, folks. You gotta give it your claps for MLB. They're the only sport that, for some reason, always does their All-Star break better. NBA, they can never get stars to the dunk contest. And the basketball game hasn't been competitive since I was in middle school. NFL, it's dead. Doesn't count. Nobody gives a fuck about hockey. Even the hockey one ain't that great. I watched it last year for 5 minutes because I was channel surfing my buddies after we got back from the bar, and I'm like, wait, it's the All-Star break? What the fuck's happening? So, MLB, it's not a hard field to beat, but they smoke it. The Home Run Derby was amazing. I loved Randy Arozarena just lighting dudes up. Julio Rodriguez breaking a fucking record. And then Vladdy Jr. sneaking by the first 2 rounds and then lighting Arozarena up. It was fun. I enjoy it. They get a lot of this is how baseball generates superstars with the Home Run Derby. I think they do this correctly. It's one of the few things that they do right. I wish they went back to the 10-outs format because this half-hack swing shit, it's not visually appealing, but I love the fact they still put up 40 fucking bombs in a round. It's crazy.
That was Rushman too with his sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Getting 20 left-handed, then in bonus time he decides to bat right-handed for ish and giggles and goes 7 of 8.
I was fucking blown. I was like, just call it. I don't even care if he fucking wins. Give this dude an award for something. Shit.
It was an amazing derby. I'm not gonna lie. You know, when you look at the lineup, you really thought like, I don't know, there's not a lot of power. I mean, there's a lot of power in there, but there's not like not everybody is a power hitter in this one. I hope this is not going to be something where everybody's going to hit 12 home runs and we're just going to squeak on by. Adley Rutschman came right out the rip and hit 27. I was like, holy shit! Like, I had Luis Roberts winning that, and I've got Luis Roberts having hit 28 to win, and he fucking did it without bonus time. So I was like, this is awesome, but. What an amazing derby. I mean, J-Rod hitting 40, 41 or something like that in the first opener, and the crowd was going insane for him. It was amazing. Shout out to ESPN for not knowing that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. wasn't Cuban. But other than that, it was a fantastic derby. I had a lot of fun watching. It was very exciting. Mookie Betts kind of stepped to the plate and was like, you know what, I'm not being Vladdy, so I'm just gonna swing and just hope for the best. And shout out to the Statcast edition. I don't know if anybody watched that, but I was watching that with my fiance. She's a very big data analytical person, and it was a way for both of us to enjoy the experience. But they did a really good job with the home run trajectory, the velocity, the angle projection. It was actually a really cool experience.
It was incredibly well done. My nerdy self enjoyed every second of that as well. I will agree. I think MLB All-Star is the best All-Star. I did a little rant on our show yesterday, and I posted it to Twitter and all of our socials. It's about 90 seconds, so everyone go check that out. See if you can find the Easter eggs in there, too.
I think I liked and retweeted it, so it should be on ours, too.
Everyone go check that out, too, so anyone who's watching. I won't go into it because, I had fun with that one.
Yeah, and then, shout out to Dusty Baker for ruining Garrett Cole's perfect game. It took him out after one inning. Man had no runs, no hits, no walks.
Listen,
no nothing.
my boy Zach Gallen struck out Shohei Ohtani on the nastiest knuckle curve I had seen in a while. I was like, damn, my boy's throwing one inning so he knows he's got to strike out the best player in baseball. I was kind of pissed. Corbin Carroll was a little underwhelming, but it was the boy's first All-Star game. It was in his hometown. My boy was going to be a little jumpy. Shout out to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. for hitting a fucking moonshot and it just being about a foot foul. But as a D-backs fan, I love watching the All-Star game because we had 4 D-backs in the game for the first time since 2017. As a fan of a second-rate market, it was very cool to see. All of them first-time All-Stars, by the way, which was even cooler. So the fact that Geraldo Perdomo made it was fucking lit. And same thing with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I love seeing him in. Corbin and Zach starting was even better. It made it okay because the Dodgers had basically a bunch of mail-in votes for their freaking their starters, but it's okay. I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, no, it was fun seeing the NL win. I won some money. I won my free bet was correctly betting the entire first round of the NL of the home run derby. Nailed it. 4 for 4, baby. Turned $2 free bet into $29. I was like, let's go.
I had much like last year when I had money on Julio Rodriguez. I had about $10 on Randy Rosarina, and it was very close, but like last year, fell short.
Fair enough. All right, folks. Any other thoughts on the MLB All-Star Weekend before we roll into the kind of the casual bullshit end of the show?
No, I agree with everything you were saying though. I think the MLB does it the best out of any of them. And it's funny because that's like the most boring sport to everybody in the world, but they got the best All-Star Weekend, and it's actually the one All-Star of the entire sports I actually look forward to every year. So shout out to the MLB.
Same. MLB shout out. Rob, as much as you're a fucking moron, you can't fuck this one up. Congratulations. And also,
great party.
Hey, your Astros were taking some shells from Mariners fans during that walkout song. The only team that got booed louder than Mason's Astros was the fucking Dodgers. So God bless you, Seattle.
Hey, dude. I got a few words for him, man. And I don't know if you guys saw the video of our mascot walking around. His name's Orbit, but kiss the rings, man. That's all I got to say now.
Listen, your Astros laid the modern day blueprint. You can't hate it.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's also one of these things where it's like you can be salty about 17, dude, but nobody's taken away last year. Forever and ever. Nobody can complain about that one.
Yeah, the first of the Philly teams to lose in the finals. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, listen, it just took a bad ref and about 120 cubic yards of bad turf to kill us. It's all good.
Hey, you can thank Oklahoma State for that one, man. I remember telling you guys about that. So now, now you guys have a reason to hate them too.
I almost tried to transfer to Oklahoma State.
Well, I am glad you didn't, man, because you would have hated it.
I mean, listen, I have a buddy who used to live in Stillwater, and I've seen pictures of that campus. It's gorgeous, but
dude, it is. I'm telling you, man, it is a.
Oh, the city's a shithole. But
Oh
the
yeah,
Kansas is
dude. I
nice.
mean, it's a farm town, is what it is. It's all ag. So I mean,
that
there's
that
nothing
that
out there,
that
dude.
town is literally nothing but Copenhagen and Lone Star. And honestly, that's not the worst thing in the world.
And Bush Light, dude. That is about it.
And not anymore because they fucked up. All right. Guys, big breaking news. LeBron's not retiring. Breaking news.
As we
All
expected.
about Bron, dude.
LeBron, he was look at his publicist. It's been way too long since I've been in the headlines. I ain't retiring, y'all. It's like, Bron, we fucking know. ESPN, yes, headlines. Let's go.
We all know Bron's staying until his son comes into the league.
All right. So now I got a round of, we're going to take some predictions here. We're going to take some round table here. So I'm going to go to each of you, starting with Mr. Stewart, Shohei Ohtani edition, and MLB Trade Line edition. Start naming some names here. Where's everyone going? So we're going to start with Mr. Ohtani here. Mr. Stewart, do you think Shohei stays for the rest of the season or he gets dealt?
I would answer both. I think he is going to stay. I don't think the Angels are going to give him away right now just because you're not going to get full value for him, especially at the trade deadline. And they still have a shot to make a run to get to the playoffs. I don't think they're dead, so I think they're going to keep him. But hypothetically, let's say he gets traded just for ish and giggles. I'm going to say the Guardians go make a move for him, especially after him name-dropping Jose Ramirez over the All-Star break. They got a lot of young players they could try and flip in there. So for fun, I will say the Guardians is an Ohtani spot, but I don't think they're going to move him. I think Trout's going to get healthy. They're going to get healthy. I think they're going to try and make a postseason run.
Nice. Mr. Matthew, Ohtani, yes, no, where, like, what's going on here? What are your two answers?
So I don't think he gets traded at the deadline. Mostly for what DJ was saying, you could get an arm and a leg and then some, and a couple of organs for Shohei Ohtani right now from any MLB team, anybody that anybody wants them to have. But I just don't think that they're going to trade him right now, just of the fact that I don't think any team is going to give up their top prospects for a guy that, even though he is a once in a lifetime person that can do everything, who is always in the Cy Young picture, who's always in the MVP picture, there's just no way, like, if I'm the Yankees, I'm going to give up Dominguez, Peraza, Volpe, Glaber, Severino, and more for a guy that I'm going to have for 3 or 4 months, and I might lose to a bidding war to Steve Cohen because he's got the money in the world. So I'm going to say he's staying put, but for this year, but I don't think he stays in Anaheim. I don't give a shit if it's LA. It's Anaheim.
I don't think he goes to the Dodgers either. I just
No.
think that's not Ohtani's shtick. He's interesting to me. He's not one of those guys who's going to chase the money. He wants to go where he feels like he fits in.
Well, another thing too is,
and I think he wants to win. I think he wants to win in a system that
our fellow Connecticut sports show, by the way.
Continue, Matt. I'll make my point after you.
No, so what I'm saying is that at first when he came over here, he didn't want to be on the East Coast. He wanted to be on the West Coast, and now he's talking about he wants to win. A dark horse team that I'm going to throw out there, I'm looking at Baltimore. Baltimore is a team that's on the rise. They're second place in their division by a long shot. They're going to make the playoffs this year, and I think they're going to do a lot of damage next year and the year after, and I think they're going to be a very good team. Another team that has that, pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I think they have a pretty decent prospect, pickings down in the farm systems. A team that makes a lot of trade sells, but keeps those prospects that they get from those trades within, and I think they have a lot to offer for somebody like Ohtani. So I'm throwing Baltimore in there as a potential dark horse team that I think is going to make a lot of noise down the road. I think Ohtani gets them over the hump. Obviously, I would like for him to go to the Yankees, but I think it's going to cost Volpe, and I don't think the team's willing to do that. And if this was George Steinbrenner, he'd probably be here by now, but I'm going to say stays for this year at least.
I think Ohtani is going to stay. I think Mason should finish this one up because I'm kind of excited to hear his take here. As a fellow AL Wester, but as a NL West guy, and there was an article today posted on the D-backs fan blog that I subscribe to. That's actually I guess it's the CBS owned one, and they're like, "Guys, trade scenarios for Ohtani," and every comment was, "He won't sign here unless we throw him the bank, and our ownership will never do that. Don't trade for him when we have more prospects than God that are all going to be MLB All-Stars in the future." Diamondbacks have 6 guys who are potentially like All-Star level talent. Just sometimes it ain't worth it. As a fan who's never going to see him play for my team, I love watching Ohtani play. I think he stays, and I think he's going to sign with a team that makes no fucking sense. Like a Texas Rangers kind of thing. Like, he's going to sign no Yankees, no Dodgers, no Red Sox, no Mets, no, like, or I like the Orioles with Matt, a team that's got money, but is not going to make any sense yet. I think the Texas Rangers is my landing spot for Ohtani next year. He's going to stay until the end of the season with the Angels.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, Jared. As a fan of a team that has really done a good job of drafting well, both in the domestic draft and the international draft, it's very interesting to think about paying these guys tons and tons of money. I remember when Bryce Harper was still on the Nationals. The Astros were in the mix to trade for him and then potentially sign him. But when you think about it, it would not have worked out simply because they already had enough talent. They already had enough draft capital. And, they've got a guy named Kyle Tucker coming up through the ranks who is not as good as Bryce Harper, but is good enough. So there's no point in taking on that massive contract similar to one that Ohtani's going to get. And he's probably going to sign a contract that is the richest in the sports history. I think he'll shatter Judge's contract that he signed last summer. And so, if I had to guess, everybody's going to say the Dodgers, right? But, the Dodgers are tied with the Diamondbacks for the division. The Dodgers are more than well equipped to go out and win the World Series with this current roster. So I don't really feel like that's going to happen. And I don't think that the Dodgers are going to want to give up as much as they're going to have to give up for, like you guys are saying, a player that might ultimately become a rental guy for, the remainder of the season, and then he's gone. So, to be honest with you, I think Boston, checks in with LA and says, hey, what's up? We'll give you a lot of prospects. We suck right now, but Ohtani sells tickets. And after all, it is Boston. So, it's a huge market. The fans are great. It's a historic franchise, all of that. I think that's a good dark horse. And then, I think a realistic favorite for a team that's kind of on that fringe, I don't know. I'm looking at the standings here. I kind of agree with DJ here. I think the Guardians is a nice pick just as a rental. I don't think they're the type of team that is going to sign him long term just because they can. But as a rental, why not, right? Make that push, see how good your team really is when you add the most unique player, or the most unique player in the league. It's worth rolling the dice, right?
Anybody have any sort of concern about him being dealt to an East Coast team at the deadline and then him having to play in, going from LA weather to playing in like 35 degrees in like October or November in some areas?
That's a fair point.
I don't think the Angels will trade him, though. That's the thing. They won't hold that. They're going to hold that hope that they can keep him. Trout gets healthy. They keep acquiring talent. Because honestly, Trout doesn't get hurt. This Angels team's a wild card team. So the Angels will hold out hope. They won't deal him unless they get offered literally everything from a team's like prospect system. So, like, let's say, like, the Dodgers, Yankees, Diamondbacks, whatever, throw 3 MLB-ready prospects, a couple of, like, long shots, and a couple of first-round pick-level guys. They may do it. But the Angels are kind of, like, sitting there like, we might be able to keep him for next year. Like, he may like it here. We just have to go get pitching. So, I think he'll stay. I don't think he'll get. I think there's like a 90% chance he stays.
Because I think the other interesting aspect of this trade, this hypothetical trade, is how do you value this guy? What is like the sort of supposed adequate return for a player that like is the most unique player since Babe Ruth? How do you like value as a front office who's trying to trade for this dude? Like, what do you give up? Where do you start? You know, probably your best 2 or 3 or 4 prospects, probably the best, player you've got on your team, or, the second best, and probably your right fielder. But I mean, it's just, I think that's another aspect that people don't really talk about is just that I don't know where you start in terms of like making an offer, because he's so unique. Like, there's no way to really like put like a sort of price tag on him in terms of like, what do you give the LA Angels for this dude?
Exactly.
I will say,
if they can get in,
go.
Say
if they can get into the playoffs, so they can figure out their pitching just enough and figure out everybody outside their top 3 just enough, and they can get into the playoffs. I think they will cause some fits in the playoffs because they have a lot of star power and they got a lot of firepower right there. So if they can get into the playoffs, even as a wild card, I think they can make a little bit of noise, maybe take a series or 2 as well. Because with him and Mike Trout, that's a lot of firepower.
And Rodon is healthy again. Everyone forgets this. Like, it's not a bad roster by any stretch. Folks, we actually made it 8:30 tonight. It was a great show, and we just bullshitted with our OG4. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, shout out to our resident version of AJ Hawk, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Stewart. Clap it up for him. DJ, where can we find your amazing content?
You can check us out on all major socials, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok a little bit at High Low Sports. Go and check it out there. We post every Tuesday. We have our Tier Tuesdays where we go and just pick a random topic and go and toss them into tiers. Go live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Go and check out our socials now. I go on a little rant about the MLB All-Star Week, see if you can spot the Easter eggs in there. And go and check out our latest episode as well on your favorite podcast episode, favorite place to get your podcasts.
Exactly. Also, peep the Slave One hanging on the wall in the background. Shout out to my dog, Boba Fett. All right. Matt and Mason, y'all know where you can find these handsome devils. Matt, you can find at Korner Booth Matt. Mason at Korner Booth MR on Twitter. I am at Belly Up Jared because as much as I love to be just Korner Booth Jared, I am also part of Belly Up's board of directors, so I have to keep my moniker as well. Korner Booth Jared and everything else. You can find us at Korner Booth Pod on every single social. Matt and Mason McKillen on social media. Also, peep our new intern Chris, who will be joining us August, I believe, 15th. Listen, Mr. 50 on Sports, I'm down with it, but some of your takes have been, I'm a little like, okay, but listen, we'll do a collaboration. Don't you worry. As a fellow Connecticut podcast, at least me and Matt are. Mason is out there in the great, amazing state of Texas. So we'll figure something out. And our intern Chris is out of Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you stopping by. Shout out to our sponsors, Candidates, Mahler Bros, SeatGeek, and Yeats for sponsoring this episode. Shout out to Belly Up Sports and Belly Up Media itself. We hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Apparently, the sky is falling up here in Connecticut, where thunderstorms, raining, all that other bullshit. It's all good. We will see you guys. We're back. We're recording an episode Monday or Tuesday. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.